Sean Hogan for that more than generous and gracious introduction. I really appreciate it. And thank you for being a wonderful colleague in government and a very good friend to me. The more important point of my being here, though, is the fact that the mayor, in speaking with me, said, you know, Tom, you do these Unclaimed Fund events all across the state. Why don't you come to Hornell and provide me the opportunity to invite the residents of the city and neighbors from the county to come down to City Hall, have your staff there. I know you make it easy with the website for people to search for their unclaimed funds, but let's do it real hands-on, real local. So thank you, Mayor Hogan, for, as always, looking out for your constituents, looking out for your residents, inviting my team and I to come here and talk about unclaimed funds. As the mayor said, and you see it on our little map and visual we have here, $1.3 million for Hornell residents. Accounts valued at that amount, and the number of accounts, 3,375. Obviously, some people can have more than one account. That's a pretty big piece of change, isn't it? When we look at New York State, we have over $14 billion with a B, of unclaimed funds. So we are stepping up our efforts to reach out to individuals and organizations to let them know about this program. What I always have to point out when we're doing an event like this is when we talk about unclaimed funds and returning money, we're really talking about money that got lost. You'd be amazed at how easy it is for people to get separated from their money. Most of the accounts that are in our system, they come from various sources. Most of them are from bank accounts. Some of them can be from insurance policies. Sometimes somebody left you an insurance policy and you may not have been aware of it. They're often uncashed checks, health insurance checks. Could be a vendor check of some kind. Maybe you won the lottery and you didn't cash that check. You know, you'd be amazed at how many different ways that money that was yours, for whatever reason, you got separated from, or it never ended up in your pocket to begin with. I can tell you a very personal example. As I said, many of these accounts are old bank accounts, and often what happens, we're a very mobile society. People move, and often when they move, they may not let the bank or the financial institution know about their new address or their contact information. And some of you see in the papers the legal notices that are often published with a bunch of names saying, you know, we owe you money. The bank has to do that, but if there's no response to that legal notice, the money in the account is turned over to the state, and we hold it in safekeeping until we find you or you find us. I moved within my community. I didn't move too far away, but I moved and I had an old bank account. It was actually the first bank account I ever had, Sean, when I was a teenager, my first job. Now, I never wanted to close this account. There wasn't much money in it. It was sentimental, and the bank had changed names like 5 times since I opened my account, but I didn't want to touch it. It was like my little bit of reserve, my connection to my very first job and my very first bank account. But I had moved, and I hadn't done any transactions with that account for a period of time. I get a phone call. We're looking for Tom DiNapoli. This is he. Well, we have this account, and there's been no activity, and we're turning it over to the state controller's office for unclaimed funds. Imagine what it would have been like if my own bank account was turned over to my office. My staff would say, what are you doing? You're not keeping an eye on things. Well, even though I had moved, my phone number had to change, so they were able to find me. But very often people move, and they move a greater distance, and their phone number might change. And you may forget. And sometimes people say, well, gee, I pay close attention to my affairs. I don't forget. But you know, you never know when, in fact, you may overlook something. I hadn't realized that. I knew that I had a bank account, but because I hadn't done any transaction, a deposit or withdrawal for a period of time, the bank thought it was a dormant account. And under the law, and there are different periods of dormancy, if they see one of their accounts as dormant, they are required to turn that money over to the state of New York. And every state has a program like this. As I said, we're up to over $14 billion. Some of this money goes back to the 1940s. It goes back a very long period of time. And certainly it's possible some of those accounts won't be claimed. But we're trying to step up our effort to return money to people in the state of New York. Last year we returned a record $452 million in New Yorkers lost money. We're averaging now about $1.5 million a day of money that we're returning. Now, friends of mine like Mayor Hogan would say, Tom, you're sitting on $14 billion, we could use some more money now. Yeah. Well, the truth is, we're not just sitting on all that money. In fact, the legislature uses that money for good purposes already, and we keep enough in reserve to make sure that we have more than enough to cover, based on experience, what the return is going to be. But I mention that because I don't want people to think we're just sitting on that money. It is being put to good use. But we are responsible in perpetuity for all of those accounts. So technically, if everybody comes out of the woodwork and claims those accounts, we have to pay all that money out. Now that probably isn't going to happen because some people may have passed away and they may not have heirs. But that's why an event like this is very, very important to us, and why I appreciate Mayor Hogan hosting us today. Because I know the program well, but so many people either haven't heard about the program, or they've heard about it, but they think it's too much trouble, and they don't take the time to search and to see if they have any money owed to them. As I said, we've made it as easy as possible through the web and use of modern technology for people to search online and, in fact, apply right online. Going back a few years, people would call our 800 number, they would send in an inquiry in the mail. Often was a cumbersome process that took a long time. In fact, now if you search online, apply online, you can get a check back, sometimes in less than a week, if it's an easy recovery. So I always say, when you can't sleep at 2 in the morning and you're on your computer, go to the controller's website, whatever your search engine is, put in New York State Controller, click on Unclaimed Funds, and you can search. What I also like to remind people is, don't only put your own name in. Put in the name of family members and friends. And for family members, it can even be a deceased relative, maybe a parent or a grandparent who passed away. If it is an estate situation, we might need a little more documentation, but we will work with you to make sure that you understand what we need so that you can claim that money. As I said, this money goes back decades, and we do want to return it to everyone, whether it's in your name or in a family member's name, even if they're deceased. Organizations as well are entitled to unclaimed funds. It could be a check that wasn't cashed that you were entitled to with your church, your synagogue, your union, your nonprofit, your business. Business people obviously would be able to search and see if they have any money owed to them. So we're going to be here today. We have staff. We've already had some folks. I think we've already returned some money, right? Did we find some? We found some money already. We really want to just encourage everyone to spread the word about this program. I always say it's not quite the lottery, but in fact you never know if your name or someone you know well is in the system. Most of the recoveries are in the range of $50 to $100. It's not unusual for it to be more than that, though. It could be a few hundred, could be a few thousand. We have an account now valued at about $1.7 million that has not been claimed. Hogan is not the name on that account. I have to point that out, nor is DiNapoli for that matter. And there actually was an account a few years ago. It was various stock accounts. You're not going to believe this, Sean, $4 million in unclaimed funds. I don't know how you misplaced $4 million, but someone did. So, like I say, it's not quite the lottery, but you just don't know how easy it can be to get separated from some money. What's one of the recent, because people say to me, Tom, so you're doing all this outreach, you're returning $1.5 million a day, how come it seems that you keep getting more and more money in the unclaimed funds? Well, there's always new accounts coming in. And there are new areas too. Gift cards, right? Becoming very popular now to do gift cards. And I always say to people, if you're doing a gift card, make sure you go through the process to register the gift card. Because sometimes gift cards get lost or they expire, they're not used. If you register that gift card, and if in fact it ends up as unclaimed funds, if you have that registration number, we can then track that and return that money to you. If you just do cash and the gift card without a registration, then we can't track it. But that's one area of new revenue that we're receiving where gift card money is coming in.